Okay, seriously, which one of you Latina mommies wants a BBL to go to the workshop? Big Ed assumes that it's Ladyboy season with his little trip to Thailand, but everyone knows it's Splendid Daddy season, and I got these dollar bills for you Latina mommies. And of course you all know Jasmine, my spicy Latina mommy that often demeans me, but I have it coming because I met her on a sugar baby website and I use money to control her. But ever since she started making money on OnlyFans, Jasmine started disrespecting me in all kinds of ways, like sleeping with the guy from Planet Fitness. Y'all already know I bought a lot of dumb things on Amazon, but hands down, this is the best $20 I've ever spent. Well, now that we got the Gino cosplay out of the way, let's discuss episode 14 of Happily Ever After, Together as a Family. When the episode opens up, we first see Jasmine in Independence Park, the home of mini ducks, and she's hitting a mini yoga session. And then Gino shows up looking like he's about to go on a fishing trip.
I thought maybe we could go to lunch and chat some.
Jasmine then tells Gino that she wants to have an adult conversation at the lunch, and he agrees. Then Gino tells the audience that at this lunch, he wants to talk about the fight they had the previous episode. Gino goes on to say, "It hurts me that Jasmine said I wasn't a real man. I mean, this is the kind of crap that I go through too often." So obviously by saying this, Gino's trying to place himself in the victim position and communicate to everyone that Jasmine is treating him unfairly and being so mean to him. Here's the thing, buddy. Jasmine's criticism for you the past couple episodes has been right on the money. You haven't been acting like a man, especially because you met this woman on a sugar baby dating site. So naturally, as the man, as the provider, as someone that attracted someone looking for that financial security, yeah, you're going back on your word, because what did you do when she moved to the United States? You quit your job, all of a sudden wanted to live this retired lifestyle, and you're doing the most to try and convince the audience that it should be a 50-50 relationship. It's never been that dynamic. Gino goes on to say, "How can we get out of this mess arguing all the time?" And as he's saying this, he's digging for gold in his ear. Why don't you just fart and burp on camera, buddy? But anyway, Gino does not want to get out of this mess of arguing all the time. You know, one could argue that he thrives in this kind of dynamic because he's the type of person that will create a crisis and then want to be like Superman and solve the crisis so that he can be the hero in his woman's eyes.
I am exhausted, mentally exhausted.
I have to be honest with you, I'm mentally exhausted myself.
Poor Gino.
Next time, Gino, if there is ever a next time, right, you should hit her with the, "Why do you feel mentally exhausted, babe? Do you want to talk about it? I'm sorry you feel that way. It's that easy." Jasmine goes on to say to the audience that she knows she said some mean things to Gino, but she's not the only one. Right now, they're both recognizing that they said mean things to each other. I think the difference is that the past couple episodes, Jasmine has been super honest and direct with Gino. Jasmine goes on to say that her and Gino have no intimacy and they're newlyweds, so naturally, this is not how a marriage should be.
That really hurts me because I feel like I've been a provider to you. And then, you know, I told you that I finally paid for the pageant and I was expecting you to be happy, and you didn't give me any credit for doing that.
And that hurt you.
Yeah, that hurt me.
This shouldn't have been an argument. This shouldn't have been a back and forth, because you communicated from the beginning of the relationship that you would pay for everything. Fast forward, you use money to hold it over this girl's head, as you've done in a lot of your previous relationships. And that's been outed by your ex, who's now a corn star. So here's the thing for Gino. He constantly presents a crisis, and then all of a sudden, after you have to argue with him for multiple episodes about whatever you want to be paid for, he presents a solution. "Oh, I'm going to pay for it." Well, why don't you kiss my butt because I said I'm going to finally pay for it? You're so ungrateful. I've done so much for you.
I am sorry if I hurt your masculinity as a man and you felt less than a man. That was not my intention.
Hey, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The sad clown, Gino frowned. Jasmine was the bigger person and apologized for hurting Gino's little feelings. Jasmine goes on to promise Gino that she's going to work really hard on not starting arguments with him, and even if they are arguing, she's going to really try her best to respect him mid-argument. And then Gino says, "So you won't say hurtful things to me?" By hurtful things, I'm assuming he's talking about her bringing up the fact that he's not a good provider and that he has a corn addiction, which are both true statements, but he takes them as hurtful things to say. Jasmine goes on to tell Gino that she won't say hurtful things purposely, but then says that she wants him to take the initiative in the bedroom when it comes to their intimacy. And he says, "Well, we'll work on it." Here, I'll roll the clip of what he says.
It's gonna take some time. And when I'm comfortable to do it, I'll let you know.
Time out. This dude is so quick to go in the bathroom, pull out his phone, and jerk off to corn, yet this is how he treats his wife, someone he swore before friends, family, and God to spend the rest of his life with. You shouldn't make her seem like it's such a chore to make love to her. This is disgusting, especially when you drop so many bands at the Build-A-Bitch workshop to make her look like the corn stars that you jerk it to. What this seems like to me is, regardless of whether it's financial or if it's physical, he's trying to put his girl in the position where she feels like she's not good enough and she has to earn those things from him. Whereas in any other relationship, that would be given.
You know, I want you to find me attractive even if I argue. Like,
Are you talking about physically? Because physically, I'm attracted to you. You're beautiful, very beautiful woman.
Okay, Gino, if you aren't psychologically attracted to your wife because of corn overload, then maybe get therapy for that. Besides, Jasmine's already selected one of the most expensive hobbies at this point, Gino. You might as well throw $100 towards a therapy session.
what do you like about me physically the most?
I like your big, perky breasts. Very good shape.
I don't know. I just feel like the majority of other dudes would have hate sex and not abstain from sex overall. If anything, you could have vampire sex with all the disrespect that Jasmine has thrown your way over the years.
Okay, I like everything from you physically. Like in my eyes, you're the most beautiful man on earth.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We got a whole ass lie from Jasmine. Gino has never been her type. Her typical type of dude is someone that looks like her ex Dane, someone with blonde hair and blue eyes. So when Jasmine says this to Gino, he says, "Oh, Jasmine, that's so sweet." And then they proceed to talk about how they're making baby steps and improving their relationship. They're really not. This is like an open wound that they're putting a Band-Aid on.
I'm sorry that I retaliated.
So Jasmine and Gino kiss and make up without actually solving the problems in their relationship, which is on brand for these two. And then Jasmine says to Gino, "Baby, if I'm in a bad mood, use your big toe and just put it in my mouth very deep into my throat." Whoa there, that's a visual that nobody asked for. Thanks a lot, TLC. The next time you're casting for The Last Resort, maybe you should cast a couple fans because we all need therapy as well. And going back to my previous videos on Drew Barrymore, Ross, and the Dirty Bird, that's the problem I have with what he said. Doesn't everyone love 90 Day Fiance? I can't make my voice that high, but that right there, that sentence told us that you weren't an actual fan because of shit like this. Anyways, Jasmine and Gino say that they love each other, and then the next time we see these two, they're shopping for Jasmine's pageant dress. So as soon as Jasmine scurries into the dress store, she tells the attendant that she's entering a beauty pageant, and then the attendant takes her to the formal dress section.
Hot pink, baby. I think this hot pink is our awesome color on you because it's really bright. And you can see your bright smile and how hot you are in pink.
Hey, that's real sweetie pie cutie pie of Gino to be helpful and try to hype his girl up in the dress store. So what happens next is Jasmine pulls out a blue dress and Gino says, "Oh baby, I don't think that's a color you should go for." And then he picks a dress which happens to have a butterfly on it that matches Jasmine's butterfly ring, causing her to go big gushing mode and say, "Oh my God, I love the dress."
You are just on point, and I cannot believe it. Like, who would think someone like you that doesn't have any sense of fashion for himself does have it for another person?
No sense of fashion? Are you kidding me? I've improved my fashion in the last few years.
Gino, buddy, let's be real. You aren't exactly known to have good taste when it comes to fashion, and this is from a guy in a Dungeons and Dragons t-shirt. Now, the good news is that Jasmine likes Gino's package, and she goes on to say that he's sexy, he should model underwear, so I don't think his sense of style bothers her.
Gino,
All right.
you can have a seat right here. You get to be
Cool.
the judge.
I'm the judge and the jury.
Jasmine, you're gonna work with me in the fitting room.
The way this woman talks is insufferable. I don't like when people speak like they're talking to children. The attendant goes on to say that she's going to do the zipping, lacing, and tying, and Gino suggests that maybe she could teach him a couple things about that so that he could help Jasmine out before the pageant, which I thought was actually really considerate of him. So then Gino turns to Jasmine and says, "Jasmine, I kind of have an idea. I could be your manager because I almost ran for the Mr. Michigan pageant."
I could be your manager.
So Gino's telling his wife that he should be her manager because he has some familiarity with pageants by almost joining the Mr. Michigan pageant, which doesn't make sense when you think about it because he ended up not joining. We see some pictures of what Gino used to look like back in the glory days when he was younger, and when he communicates that he could be really helpful to Jasmine in this department, she says, "Wow, the universe works in all kinds of mysterious ways." So Jasmine throws on the first dress. It's hot pink. She walks out and Gino gasses her up saying that's so hot. It's going to knock their socks off. Here's the thing, Socks. We got to give the credit where the credit is due. Gino is being very honest with these dress reviews. She walks out in the next dress. It's orange. It looks very trashy. And he says something on the lines of, you look like you just escaped the pumpkin patch. Jasmine says she feels so sexy in it, like a luscious fruit or some kind of nonsense sentence like that. Here's the thing. That dress is no good, and I agree with Gino here.
You would be like a shining star in this dress.
Sit. Sit.
Call me master.
Damn, these two say a lot of kinky shit for a couple that's not intimate, right? As we know, Jasmine's like a dominatrix. At one point, she peed on Gino in the past, and he really enjoyed that. So he's into that kind of submissive role when it comes to their relationship. She says, you controlling thing, I can fire you. And he says, don't do that. And then she laughs. It seems like they're actually having a really good time when she's trying on these dresses.
It definitely fits you good.
I really
Beautiful
love
color.
this color. And I show up my breast, but not in like vulgar way, you know, like, oh, like.
Okay, to keep things 100, if Jasmine actually cared about bringing her children to the United States, she would have taken that $1,200 pageant fund and reallocated the fundage towards a lawyer and visa fees. If your kids are a priority, why are you placing such an importance on superficial things like a beauty competition? I'm sure dudes tell her all the time that she's pretty, so it makes no sense.
For them to see like, she had something, but not like, I'm classy, I'm not a bitch. And I have a tail, like an alligator.
Yeah. Now you look like a beauty queen.
The bad news though, Socks, is we get a preview of the next episode, and it turns out that Jasmine didn't do that good at the pageant. She must not have watched Zoolander the night before. Rookie move.
The rehearsal's off to a rough start and not a good look for Jasmine, you know, as far as in the coach's eyes.
The 90 Day Fiancé Miss Congeniality crossover isn't going great for Jasmine, but it makes sense because this is her first beauty pageant. Gino says everyone at the pageant is better than he was expecting, so he recorded some of the other girls, the competition, in order to show Jasmine how to improve.
I videotaped some of the girls that I thought had good posture and looked at the crowd.
Excuse me? You were recording other girls. That's bull.
They do it pretty good, okay? Overall.
It's painful to watch when Jasmine finds out that her husband recorded these other women. It sends her into outer orbit because he already has a porn addiction and she's wondering what he's gonna do with these videos.
Let me show you a couple people that I felt that overall that they, let's see.
Incredible.
It would have been smarter to approach it in advance. For example, to talk to your woman and tell her, hey babe, I think it's a really good idea to scout out the competition. I'm going to record these girls. If he disclosed that in the beginning, or at least considered her opinion on the matter, he would have avoided this altogether. Gino pulls up a video of the other contestants with good posture, communicates to Jasmine they have good posture. She grabs his phone and watches the videos, thinking to herself, there's no way this worm is talking about my posture right now. Jasmine then tries to convince the audience that Gino is admiring these other women, and sure, he's paying them compliments, but he wants you to learn from these women so that you can improve. And you can tell that you're egoing this, and it's not a good way to act. For example, I played football for 8 years of my life. I would review film. Why not watch and learn and not ego it so that you can get better at this particular field or craft, whatever you're doing? And if anything, why doesn't Gino do a little runway action to, you know, lighten up the mood, get silly, and then walk her through what these other women are doing? Say, hey babe, why don't you do a couple practice rounds and I'll watch and I'll compare it to the video and we can fix it right here. If Gino was gonna crank his meat to anything, it would probably be corn over your competition at the beauty pageant, right? When it comes down to it, I think we can all agree that these two are just not compatible. Hey Stocks, I was gonna end our video here. However, episode 15 came out last night, so I think that we should react to it together as a family because it provides a lot more information about this pageant drama.
Do you think you packed all the pageant stuff that you need? 'Cause
Yeah.
I've seen they wanted a lot of different types of shoes. You got all that stuff?
I did. I don't start, okay?
Did you pack your toothbrush?
Yes, I did. I did.
The first couple we see in episode 15 of season 8 of Happily Ever After is Jasmine and Gino. They're on the way to the airport because the beauty pageant is actually in Florida. I assume the beauty pageant was in Michigan. So let's just add travel expenses, flights, hotel, Ubers, dinners. This is gonna get really expensive all so that Jasmine can live her Miss Beauty pageant dreams in the United States. Meanwhile, her kids are back in Panama wondering why she chose that over them. Jasmine says to Gino in the car, I'm coming into this beauty pageant to prove to myself I'm capable of this. Doesn't matter my age, I still got it, baby. And you can tell the whole time Jasmine says this, Gino's thinking to himself, oh no, how much is this gonna cost me, Jasmine? Jasmine goes on to say that she's gonna be a happier version of herself after the pageant, and she's gonna learn so much from the experience, but given what we already know and what we've seen, it doesn't go her way.
Yeah, but the competition is going to be tough.
Also, whoa, it's like I'm getting multiple brain blasts at once with all the money that they're spending towards this pageant, because it was a $1,200 entrance fee, plus the flights, plus the hotel, all the other expenses. Is that total amount going to be around the same price as it would be for the lawyer fees to get her kids to the United States? Most likely. Maybe it's off by $1,000. Why wouldn't she care more about that than this beauty pageant? It just makes no sense, especially when she wants to complain and throw a huge hissy fit about how Gino isn't bringing her kids over here. If you really cared that much, you would get your priorities right. The NPCs on these TV shows have a unique way of telling on themselves, right? And speaking of NPCs, guess what Drew Barrymore posted? So at the time that I'm recording this video, it is Monday, June 24th, and the Drew Barrymore show 2 hours ago re-uploaded the interview with the Dirty Bird. Here's the video title. 90 Day Fiancé, Angela Deem reveals the sexiest way to resolve a fight with your spouse. I'm looking at this video right now. It has around 500 views after 2 hours, and all of the comments are negative. They cannot believe that Drew Barrymore reposted this video. And here's the thing, regardless of whether it was her directly or one of her team members, y'all already deleted the videos off your YouTube channel and your Instagram pages, yet now you're re-uploading the videos? What are you doing? You already got so much backlash from fans, not just of your show, but of 90 Day Fiancé. Absolutely disgusting that Drew would have Angela on here knowing she's vile and she's very abusive to everyone. Why in the world would you let this verbally and physically abusive woman on your show? Super sad, I can't believe it, angry emojis. Next comment by Line Peterson is, I'm just WTF. Her own fan base is very confused why they would re-upload this video. What I'm assuming happened is that they chopped up the interview into multiple parts and scheduled the posts. They really need to do a better job of hiring competent people for this show. And it's a really strange way to move, right? Because you deleted the interview to cover up your mistake, but then you re-uploaded it. So which is it?
I got something in my bra now.
You do not, really?
I do.
What do you
I do.
Now I'm scared. What's in there?
It's a heart. And I had it photoshopped with you and Willington in it.
Oh my God.
It's like that old saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. They are making terrible decisions for their reputation, but at the end of the day, we're not in control of what other people do. The good news is, Socks, that for our channel members, I'm going to be uploading the full interview with the Dirty Bird that they conducted, as well as my unfiltered thoughts. So be sure to join the Yourwetsock channel membership program. Gino goes on to say, the competition's going to be real rough. She's going up against professionals. Is she going to be good enough? And Jasmine cuts him off and says, hey, you don't say that.
You don't say that. You're my manager. You have to make sure I'm not stressed, keep me calm.
It sounds like I have to be a man wearing many hats.
It's so ironic when the Dirty Bird laughs at her own jokes, no one thinks it's funny, but when Gino does it, it's actually hilarious. Jasmine then threatens to burn all Gino's hats, and he says, oh no, don't do that, then everyone will see my bald head. The next time we see the Lovebirds, they have checked into their hotel in Miami, Florida, and Jasmine is feeling very nervous for the beauty pageant. I'm not sure why, because all you gotta do is walk up and hit a Ginyu Force pose, and you'll probably win. So in the hotel room, Gino sees the way Jasmine's dressed, and he's slightly confused. He asks her, are you going to work out or something? And she's like, baby, what are you talking about? This is the outfit we're supposed to wear to rehearse. And he's like, oh, okay, maybe you should add a necklace or something. And she's like, are you effing serious? Like, she seems so on edge.
So that's what they are gonna
No, but I
think.
mean, you look nice, but you seem really tense.
Don't tell me I'm tense. I know I'm tense. I feel it in my back and my stomach. I'm hungry and I'm bloated.
It's close to that time of the month too, isn't it?
Don't start with that.
Whoa, Jasmine, take a chill pill. You just said that you were feeling bloated, so the natural connection in the majority of guys' brains is, oh, you get bloated around the time when you get your period, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with what he said, and I find the way that she's speaking to him to be really crummy, but I get that he's used to that dynamic of getting demeaned and getting talked to like this, but I don't think many other guys would tolerate that. I get that Jasmine's feeling very nervous, irritable, farty, bloated, etc., but there's no reason to take her frustrations out on Gino, especially when he's not only being a sport by paying for this, but it's a complete waste of money. She works on OnlyFans and she also posts all these thirst trap pictures on Instagram. I'm sure she gets hella dudes giving her compliments on a daily basis and women. So the fact that she feels like she needs to enter this beauty competition to build up her self-confidence is ridiculous, in my opinion.
I don't need to get my period right now because I need to wear a bikini. And then I will have to stick a tampon, and I don't like that. I prefer sanitary napkins.
Ready to go.
Anyways, they get to the function and Jasmine walks in the room and says, "Hi everyone," and no one says hi back to her. I'm assuming that the other women are annoyed that an entire TLC film crew is there. Then we see the pageant coordinator and her name's Susmita, which is kind of sus.
Well, ladies, first of all, we want to welcome you to the 2023, Miss International World Pageant. You've all been fabulous. You've all been amazing.
They haven't even done anything yet. They just walked in the room and waited a couple minutes. So I don't know what they've done that has been fabulous and amazing so far.
We're going right into rehearsals. After that, swimwear competition. We're going to be having the parade of costumes, and we're going to go into the evening wear competition. Right?
Do you think it's possible that Jasmine's going to win the competition no matter what because the entire TLC film crew is there and it brings so much press and notoriety to the pageant? Susmita proceeds to split the women up into groups for rehearsal. Jasmine says her heart is beating so fast and so hard she's all of a sudden in a competition with experienced girls. I'm sure she's also had experience smiling and walking back and forth on stage, so I'm not sure why she's psyching herself out. It's really not that deep. Jasmine then says she feels like a queen and she wants to collect as many crowns as possible, which I'm assuming means more competition, so Gino better pray she loses this shit.
Posture, roll those shoulders. Good. So this is your stance.
Posture.
I love it. Gino's like one of those sports dads with a pinch of zest. It's great. Wow, what an iconic scene for them. This might be my favorite scene of theirs, and it's especially funny because all the women in the background, if you look at their faces, it's just filled with disgust. Okay, so once they begin rehearsal, Gino whips out his phone and starts recording. He's filming the competition, patiently waiting for it to be Jasmine's turn. Once it's Jasmine's turn, we can see right away she's big cheesing. Maybe a little too much cheddar on that smile though, because it's giving me creepy salesman vibes. She also looks stiff as a board out there, way more stiff than the other feminine women. What else do we say about it, Sats? It was a real nail biter. The women look exhausted after walking back and forth that many times. I could only imagine the perils. They probably have shin splints. Jokes aside, Walina is giving feedback to the women about how they can improve walking back and forth on stage while smiling. After giving other women advice, she tells Jasmine she needs to interact more with the audience and she needs to work on her gracefulness, which makes sense because there's nothing graceful about Jasmine. She adds that Jasmine should smile softer, and I agree. Wouldn't want to scare off the sugar daddies now, would we? Jasmine says to the audience that she's an overthinker, so hearing this criticism is freaking her out, but she's going to stay focused and do what she can to become a queen. For a second, I thought she was Angela. They're both talking about becoming queens.
You know, I back women, 100. And we're all queens, you know, and I say I'm queen of me. We're all queen of us, right? Of me.
More people would consider you a queen if you stayed in Panama with your children and made better life choices.
You're not the jury. But the reason why I brought you here is to support me.
I am supporting.
Because the way you're treating me is like everybody else is better than me.
Imagine getting so hot and bothered over a dumb beauty pageant. You can tell that Jasmine never played sports growing up with that weak-ass graham cracker mentality.
All that I needed was you giving me some kind, supporting words.
No, you're telling me
No,
that
you did good. You did
No,
good.
no, Gino.
Well, the insecurity's over 9,000. Gino was just trying to help. Funny how whenever she feels uncomfortable, it's his fault, right? Gino goes on to say, I know you can win, Jasmine. And Jasmine says, I feel more insecure now, Gino. She's really trying to blame him for why she feels insecure. As we know, when you have unresolved issues from the past, they bleed into the present. So I think because he's made her feel inadequate in the past, it's starting to really bleed through right now. But I just want to set the record straight real quick. Gino was good in this episode and very supportive, and Jasmine was tripping balls.
Pointing out, like, who's better than
But
me?
you're not.
And that you
you're not supposed
recorded
to
them.
take it like this.
That's the way you made me feel, and that I'm never enough good enough
I'm
for
trying.
you.
No, I want you to win.